Hi everyone, welcome to my review of Spectre from 2015, directed by Sam Mendes, and yes, the 24th James Bond film. So yes, we're finally back, and we'll say it first, a spoiler warning for this discussion. If you haven't seen this film, I simply recommend seeing it first, and then coming back to this discussion here, and we can go from there. If you want, we can discuss this film in the comments, and you can share your opinions on this film, and respectful comments, of course, in regards to this film, and Bond, of course, as well. We can talk about a variety of things there, and of course, yes, just cinema as always. So yes, with all that said, let's dig in, and yes, once again, as I say, it's been a few months, since talking about Bond, and yes, March, I believe, and that was when I actually rewatched this film, in order to kind of review this again. So yeah, it's been 5 months, and as of recording this, and next month though, nicely, No Time to Die, at least in the UK, it's going to have its initial release, and that is the plan, and whatever happens, I guess. Even though it's a month away now, it could change, but that is the plan, and yeah, I certainly look forward to seeing this, at the cinema, and then of course owning this eventually, and just watching it, of course, like I do of Bond films, and yeah, this is of course the 24th Bond film, and it's been 6 years. Of course, all these delays, as we know, that's kind of one of the reasons why I kind of spaced this out a little bit, in between. These Daniel Craig Bonds, I guess I've been really spacing them out, and trying to, yes, just wait. I wanted to wait until May or June really, to review this film, and from then things happened, and I didn't get around to this, and it wasn't the right time. But finally here to discuss this film, and we'll go back to the initial experiences that I had with this film. I was very pumped to see this, of course. Skyfall is one of my favourite Bond films, and films in general, and that was one of the best experiences that I had at the cinema, and it's just a great time. I saw a variety of different films that I absolutely loved at the cinema, and Skyfall was one of them, and I saw that with the family. I saw the Quantum of Solace as well with my family, and I wanted to kind of. I wasn't going with my family this time round, unfortunately, but I wanted to kind of go anyway, and not to break tradition, and see every single Bond film, from Quantum, the cinema, and from then, owning the films. But just to see a Bond film, at the cinema, it's essential for me, and I went to see this, and I was very hyped, and stuff, and I guess I wasn't maybe fully energized, but really I was ready for the film, in that sense. It was a bit later on though, in the day, in the evening. I wasn't exactly perked up after the day I had, but I won't put it to that. I was ready for the film. I had an energy drink as well and stuff, and I was ready to see this. Of course, as everyone knows, on the channel, massive Bond fan. It's my favourite franchise. I'm not just someone who has watched a few of them. I've watched all of them, and I do really absolutely adore this franchise, and it's just something I'm truly obsessed with, and I was very hyped to see where they would go with this. Of course, the title being Spectre, you do expect some things, and yes, we do get that, of course, which we'll get to a little bit in the review, but yes, the initial response was I went to see this, and I was thinking, an hour in, this is very strange. I wasn't really too engaged with this film first time round, and by the end of it, I thought, that was not a Bond film that I liked, and I came out, and I was quite frustrated, unfortunately, and I thought, what, I actually hate that film. That was my reaction, and it really was it's a film that I gave a very low score to. Roughly, I don't give an exact score, but I was very disappointed, and I just guess I wasn't really engaged with the film. I wasn't having fun. I wasn't really buying the stuff they were doing with the universe. Of course, this one attempts to bring it all together, and kind of create this this universe, at least with the Daniel Craig Bond films, and obviously play on different things that happened, in past Bond films as well, and little references like we always kind of get really with Bond films, but this is really trying to link all the Daniel Craig Bond films together, and to kind of give reasons for past events in these Daniel Craig ones, in this film, and say that it is connected in this sense, and to actually set up this for potentially future installments, and it's a very ambitious film, but I did not like this first time around. I hated it, of course, and as I say, and I'll be honest, that is the case, for that first experience. Seeing it again, the first time I saw this, home release, of course, I saw this on Blu-ray back in 2018 when I first reviewed the film, and I thought, you know what, that's not bad. I was overreacting, and naturally, you can come out of the cinema and expectations, and you just kind of get extra kind of potentially frustrated because it could be a few months until you see it again, and you're thinking, is it me? Is it kind of the setup? Is it the screening? Of course, the screenings are never great. In the last few years for me, and I've just had not very good experiences. The actual cinemas, but nevertheless, I guess I was trying to find a reason for this. But seeing it again, I thought perhaps it was me a little bit, although I still don't really know if I like the film. I gave this kind of a mediocre score, I believe, back then, on the second watch, and I just thought, it's not a film that I dislike. I want to like it, though. I really want to like it more, and see on a rewatch, in a few years, if I can really come around to this. So yes, my third viewing now on this recent kind of going through the series, and yes, back in March, and it was a nice evening that I kind of watched this on, and I was gearing up for potentially liking the film to an extent where I think I look forward to rewatching it again, and perhaps I can say this is a good film. Who knows? And I can come around to this, and yes, seeing it in March, very interesting, because not only did I like this film, I now love this film. There we go, and it took a third watch, third time's a charm, of course, perhaps, but yes, I finally love this film, and it really jumped, so much, because going from not quite liking it, not quite kind of disliking it, kind of in the middle there, to absolutely loving the film, and me actually calling this a great film, that is, great news for me as a Bond fan. We're addressing now. It's kind of a weird one. This film here, the online kind of response, to this is very, really, kind of interesting. It's quite, kind of, there's a lot of hate for this film, and I guess I'm not gonna, pander to, a particular kind of viewpoint. I just think it's great for me personally, as a massive Bond fan, not just someone who's watched a few of them, and massive Bond fan, obsessed with the franchise, to actually go into the film and to love once again another Bond film, yet another. It really is for me. It's only positive, and this is going to be from here on in, a very positive discussion on the film, and that's what it's going to be. So yes, that's what to expect, and I have some issues with this film. I'm not going to lie, but I really, overall as a piece, I love the film, and really, it's great for me. I'm really happy that I've kind of finally come round to the film, and I love this film, and I look forward to massively rewatching the film in the future, and that is great. As a Bond fan, to have, the more Bond that I love, the better, of course, and I don't want to dislike a Bond film, and there's only a few really that I actually dislike of the 24. So yes, once again, Spectre for me is a great film, and that's what we're going to kind of talk about in the review, why I think it's a great film, and why I love the film now, and that's kind of the intro there. But yes, the opening sequence, we have, of course, the pre-title sequence, this kind of Day of the Dead, festivals. We have the gun barrel, and the way that it's done. It's not one of my favourites. I'm not a fan of that too much, but that's kind of, I guess it's one of the trademarks for Bond that you look forward to. Just not one of my favourites, really. But moving on from that, we have this kind of tracking shot, mostly for quite a few minutes. This kind of one take through the festival, following Bond and this other individual, and we have this massive, grand spectacle for us. Just things going on, and it took a lot. It seems to actually put this together, and it really is a sequence that at first, I perhaps thought was unnecessary, and it's, I thought it was nicely done, but not really Bond-like in that sense. And I just guess I do now really like the sequence. And yes, this tracking shot in particular, is a nice way to kind of reel you into this, and then of course when Bond is on the rooftops, following him on then, and when he gets the gun, out and assembled, that's when we have the first real cut of the film, and it's this really interesting way in which that's done, and kind of once again, it's kind of a very ambitious film, and even this, it's a nice little touch, I guess that it makes it unique, and I think the way this is shot, which we'll get to in more detail soon, it's very, very good. I think for the most part, the cinematography, is just very, very impressive, and there's some really nice kind of classic feel this film has. A very classical Bond at times, and I think the cinematography is interesting. Perhaps it's a bit too yellowy for me. The actual hue this film has, not in every scene, but for the most part, there is this kind of yes, yellowy hue, and perhaps maybe sepia, but it's not that. It's very, very different, and I think it's interesting to see. And at times, I think the lighting, it's just a bit off for me, and a bit too much. But other times, saying that, the cinematography is stunning actually, and there are different sequences that are shot, differently to a lot of the film, and they really stand out. And I think, for example, the chase sequence, of course, Mr. Hinks, in the cars early on, of course, that is a really, wonderfully shot scene. I think, and just the actual visuals there, really, capturing this. Really classy feel once again. I think yes, there are some moments that I'm not big on, and I think the lighting at times, for example, the torture sequence, that is a sequence that I'm not too big on in terms of the actual visuals. There I'm not too big on that, but we'll get to that sequence. But yes, in this sequence, of course, Bond is tracking down Marco Sciarra, and in this sense, we have this. Yes, this character just in this sequence here, the pre-titles, and it's this really once it gets going after that tracking shot, it's very much adrenaline fueled, and we have this massive of course the building falling there, and this whole kind of moment we see Sciarra in that building, and of course the realizing of course that Bond is there. It's very tense, very kind of thrilling there, and just the building falling on Bond, and the reaction, of course, when Bond falls onto the couch, and he lands safely. It's quite hilarious actually, and I think this film, it's attempting, Bond. Daniel Craig as Bond, especially is attempting to kind of bring in more humour. I feel, in this, and it's very interesting. What he's doing with his performance here. It's definitely as well. I think playing on the classic Bond films. At least in his attempt, and I do think the best performances from Craig, it's Casino Royale and Skyfall, but I do really think he is great in this film, and it's a bit different. I think his take on Bond ever so slightly in this film, but it works really wonderfully actually, and I really love Daniel Craig in this once again. He's great in these films, of course, for me, and just seeing more of the humorous take on Bond, it's very interesting, and I think. Yeah, just this these little moments throughout. It's very I do really appreciate them, and just I guess his performance is more like Roger Moore, perhaps in his in the humour that he brings to this this time round, of course, and it's great to see what he's doing, and just as I say. The action set piece there with the building, of course, toppled on the building that Bond is in, it really is stunning to see, and of course, after that we have these chase sequences, and of course the helicopter, the roll, of course, and very kind of interesting the way this is shot. I think perhaps it would have been great to kind of stay in or around this very, very closely. This helicopter, we have this kind of this fist fight, of course. We have this struggle in that, and I think very interesting. We have different cuts, really far back, kind of showing this helicopter. And I guess it was for me. It was perhaps it could have it would have been better if it stayed close to the actual helicopter and the action there. And it would have kept the tension and the thrill of this. And I think it was just a bit unnecessary at times, personally for me, to actually cut away. Really far back here, and to show it in this different way. I think it kind of took me out of the action scene on this occasion. Just, and other than that though, really really kind of fun pre-title sequence, and you know, really kind of atmospheric as well. You know, when Bond is kind of seeing that meeting there, and you know, this mystery, this setup here straight away, and we have all this action, of course. Pre-title sequences are not usually meant to kind of really set up the tone of the film, you know, in that sense. And you know, I guess they can, but you know, it's not really about that. It's more of a contained action set piece that is perhaps, you know, leading on to the rest of the film. But you know, the actual kind of dark feeling comes later, and you know, despite that, there is subtle hints, suggestions, you know, I guess, of the actual tone, you know, later to come, and the very mysterious way in which this character is set up, Marco Sciarra, and how that, of course, leads Bond to find the ring, and we have the Spectre logo, kind of, yeah, it's just the emblem there on the ring, and that leads into the actual credits, the title sequence, which is, you know, I think the song by Sam Smith, Writings on the Wall, you know, it's not a song that I personally like, really. Yeah, it's not too bad. I think the backing is nice. It's kind of epic at times. It's used pretty well, you know, I guess, within this sequence, you know, I guess, and the sequence itself, for the actual design, you know, it's not. Yeah, it's fine. I think I've grown to appreciate a bit more, I guess, but it's certainly not one of my favourites. You know, title sequences, and you know, it's very strange. The shapes and the way it kind of goes into this, and the eyes and the octopus. You know, the kind of use of that. It's very strange, but you know, it's not bad, I guess. Then we have Bond, of course, investigating different leads, and of course, at one point, you know, he is dismissed effectively, you know, kind of let go in that sense, suspended from the service, and M is, you know, kind of really quite aggressive towards Bond, and you know, at different moments in the first act, and we have this kind of dismissing of Bond, and he's got, you know, his objectives, and he kind of disobeys M, and you know, he goes off and starts following up these leads. But yes, from there, you know, we have Bond meeting up with Monica Bellucci's character, and yeah, just this really nice, you know, kind of spy feeling, and we have with Bond investigating different leads, following up these clues, and yeah, it's just kind of classic Bond. The feel to this at times, and I love how it's, you know, Bond on his own, and you know, going off and, you know, meeting up with different people, or you know, kind of following you know, these leads, tailing people, and you know, he meets up with Monica Bellucci's character though, and you know, we have that kind of very you know, kind of interesting sequence as well there, and after that, she, you know, her appearance is very short-lived, unfortunately, because I do really like Monica Bellucci, but you know, she's not in the film you know, for too long, and as we know. But yes, after that, we have you know, Bond gradually going through these leads, and eventually it leads him to this you know, this kind of sequence where he stumbles into this this room here, and you know, this massive meeting that's taking place, and of course, it's Spectre. They are back once again. It's been you know, many decades, you know, since of course Diamonds Are Forever, and we do have, of course, Blofeld, you know, kind of in a sense appearing in For Your Eyes Only, but it's not quite, you know, officially Blofeld. So you know, officially in that sense, Diamonds Are Forever was the last film that Bond, you know, kind of, you know, met a member of Spectre. It's great to see, of course, Spectre back after all these years, and you know, I loved, you know, the '60s Bonds in particular. From Russia with Love, Thunderball, and On Her Majesty's Secret Service, the way that Spectre was portrayed in those films in particular was, you know, it made the experience even greater, and you know, the atmosphere, the kind of the dark feeling, it really was something that made those films even better, and at the same time, they were fun, you know, kind of thrill rides, action films, spy films, and you know, it was great to kind of have all these elements, and nothing overbearing, and you know, I think in this film, Spectre, as it's portrayed in this film, does not work perfectly. There are some things that, you know, issues I have here and there, and overall, you know, it's kind of a real focus in this film, the actual organisation, you know, Spectre, and how it's really kind of really trying to link back, you know, how they had a part to play in all these, at least Daniel Craig Bond films, and you know, I don't think that works perfectly, especially, you know, later on in the final act, you know, kind of, for example, different characters in Casino Royale and stuff like that, you know, are portrayed, you know, it's kind of, it's attempting to kind of cast a new light on the events of those films. For me, you know, I just separate it, and you know, I do that with every Bond film, and that is one of the great things about Bond. You know, they're always kind of standalone films in that sense, while also being, you know, kind of tied to some kind of universe, you know, mythology, and you know, just not in a way that is, you know, kind of really overtly done in this way. And not to say that it can't ever be done, but in this film, it's the first one to kind of do that, I guess. And you know, it's really ambitious, and it's really going full on. You know, kind of trying to link back and to kind of apply logic, I guess, where perhaps, you know, maybe it doesn't need to be, and maybe can't be applied. And I guess that's why the film at times for me in the plot, you know, just the whole kind of universe feeling, you know, is flawed. Although not to say that I don't have fun with this, and just to see Bond interacting with Blofeld once again, it's great. You know, it really is. And Christoph Waltz gives, you know, a solid performance here, and you know, it's interesting to see what they're doing. You know, it's not my favourite kind of portrayal, you know, of Blofeld, and you know, I think he's been better written before, and all this kind of stuff. But you know, I think I do appreciate this, and you know, it's interesting to see. And I'm not a big fan of one of the moments, you know, towards the end of the film. You know, the whole kind of finish it line. It's still a bit baffling to me. You know, I guess I can kind of let that slide. Just an odd moment like that here and there that doesn't really feel truly authentic, and it feels a bit, you know, kind of tacked on in that sense, and yeah, just doesn't really work perfectly in the tone of the film either. But you know, saying that, that's really my only flaws with the entire film. It's just how Spectre is portrayed at times, the plot, and just the kind of particulars of tying this universe together. And I guess, you know, the character of C as well, I'm not a big fan of, but you know, other than that, you know, I really love the film, and I think, yes, it's great to see. As I say, the second half is much more kind of, you know, classy. You know, we have this globe-trotting feeling, and I really love, you know, the kind of romance, as I say, this love story develops between Madeleine Swann and Bond himself, and yeah, it's just seeing, of course, Léa Seydoux, you know, in this film. She's great, and a really perfect kind of casting choice here for Madeleine Swann, and a really great Bond girl. You know, a great character, I feel, and you know, the writing here, the character in itself, and at the same time, you know, the kind of chemistry with Daniel Craig, you know, it's really top notch, and I think just the interactions and the actual, you know, the love scenes in this film is really great, and really compelling, and I really love, yeah, just the kind of romantic feeling the film has going forward in that second half, and yeah, just a really a film where I really rooted this time around, especially for the, you know, the kind of the romance here, and seeing the characters hopefully end the film together, and they did. In fact, a really great, you know, kind of epic, pumping ending, and just kind of you know, gets me really hyped for the next entry. And 6 years on, still have not seen the film, but yes, it's coming. It's coming. Really is, and yeah, can't wait to see this. Of course, No Time to Die, and see where it picks up, especially with these two characters, because I was so invested, you know, in this romance, and you know, really it adds a lot. The fact that, you know, Mr. White, you know, who dies in this film as well, you know, he kind of was the father of her, and you know, kind of adds this you know, new element, of course, and that's one of the things that really, as I say, really works in kind of bringing back a past element, you know, into this film, and making it something different. I think that really works so well, and it adds this kind of layer to Madeleine and Bond as well, and his relationship with Madeleine, because of course Mr. White and what he was in charge of, you know, kind of his dealings with Mr. White in the past, and how, you know, kind of despite all that, you know, he does fall in love with Madeleine. So it's this kind of complex, you know, I guess, and layered relationship, nevertheless. And yeah, it's just great to see. And I think I love the action scenes as well. Later on in the film, I think, you know, the plane sequence, you know, kind of in the snow, that is just, it's so great. And I love, you know, just the outfits in this film as well. That's something I really appreciate. I say, of course, you know, the style is here. You know, it's so classy. It's this luxury feeling. Once again, it's this classical Bond film for the most part. You know, I think the outfits really play a hand in that. Once again, stunning wardrobe, and I love the different kind of outfits, you know, Bond wears in this, and the snow, you know, kind of outfit as well. You know, so great, and you know, just the kind of the goggles and all this kind of stuff, and these nice little touches that really add you know, this kind of you know, this really classy feel to the film. The stylistic moments in this film, you know, of Bond, just great. Yeah, just really adds to this experience. We see great cars in this film. You know, it has so much in this film. You know, there's to kind of love and admire actually, and to really get behind. And I'm so glad that I finally come round to this film. But yes, you know, this middle portion is when it really I started to kind of realise how much I was loving the film, and you know, counting this as certainly one of the better Bond films. Not one of my favourites, but it's certainly a film that has grown massively in my ranking, and I love. Yes, as I say, this middle portion of the film is when it really really picks up, and you know, especially, you know, I was kind of falling in love with this film, and really appreciating the interactions and the adventure feeling this film has, and just these massive action set pieces, and you know, really, this is when it really starts to kind of you go all in that sense, and seeing Bond in different locations, you know, it's great. And this film really showcases how Bond is great, you know, on his own, and seeing the actual spying that he does, and you know, really, I love. The very, you know, kind of solo experience at first the film is, you know, kind of Bond going, investigating, following leads, and very contained at times interactions. Also, you know, this massive sequence, though, you know, that is very different. Having said that, you know, Bond being at the centre of this universe, in that sense, it doesn't work perfectly. But you know, at the same time as Bond being this kind of you know, going in, doing some spying, you know, at the same time, it's great to see this, once again, kind of team-like experience of a film, and seeing, for example, Ben Whishaw, you know, as Q, and we have, of course, Rory Kinnear as Bill Tanner, once again, and of course, Naomie Harris as Moneypenny as well. M in this film being played for the first time officially throughout the entire film by Ray Fiennes, so very, very interesting, of course, and it's nice. Really nice to see actually the kind of follow-up to Skyfall in this sense, with all these different characters kind of reprising their roles, and I do really love that. I love how in between this and Skyfall we have that kind of continuity in that sense, and I love seeing Moneypenny back again, and you know, Naomie Harris is great, yeah, especially here, and yeah, Ray Fiennes for me plays a great M actually, and I think, you know, he's really, you know, I think he really has grown on me. The actual portrayal in this film, in that sense, of M, I think the writing at first, when I first watched it, I didn't really know how to think about this, and you know, how M was portrayed in this film wasn't anything to do with the performance, but you know, I think really this time round I love M in this film, and I think he's great, and his presence is felt, and I really love, yeah, just seeing Ray Fiennes, great actor, and yeah, the team-like feeling this film has. They're off doing their own thing, and Bond, of course, you know, is other locations, you know, Madeline perhaps later on, and then of course at the end in the final act we have this kind of meeting up of this, and it all kind of coming together, and we've had this globetrotting kind of adventure feel, you know, this romantic adventure at times, action film, and in the end, you know, kind of it brings it all together, you know, this grounded feeling, although kind of, I must say, you know, kind of strange, a little bit pathetic at the moment, as I say. Well, you know, Blofeld is saying "finish it" and all this kind of stuff on the bridge there. You know, it's just really wacky, I feel, and it doesn't really fit the tone of the film and that final act. But you know, overall, the final act I love, and I think the action there, you know, the scenes at night, you know, back in London, you know, really is so great, satisfying, and yeah, just thrilling to see all these different characters together, you know, of course. And that is, you know, the final act is when it really fully tries to bring all these things together in the universe. You know, while it does kind of specifically try to tie all this together, and for example, saying that Blofeld was essentially responsible for, you know, Vesper's death, you know, and you know, kind of M as well, you know, the death of M in Skyfall. You know, well, this is kind of doing that, and I don't think it works. You know, it is nicely kind of, you know, in a way, it's kind of epic at least to see Blofeld getting his scar over his eye, and that's something that, you know, it's kind of this this time round especially. It's nice to see this. I feel, you know, kind of this novelty. I guess it doesn't work perfectly. No. Certainly seeing how, you know, hearing how Blofeld to hear he was responsible for these past events. I don't think it works, and I do still. It doesn't really affect those films at all. I separate those films, and I don't for a second believe or buy into this kind of element of it. And they're contained, and I still just kind of separate those films, I guess. But it's I guess I appreciate kind of this ambitious take on the universe, kind of trying to tie this together. It's commendable at least to actually try to do that. Although again, is Bond really meant to be that? Certainly not in this way. I don't think to be for it to perfectly work. I don't think the film needs to keep kind of making this to be a shared universe in such a way that all these adventures are tied together. So much logic is attempted to be applied on these films. Bond is not a logical kind of franchise overall. I guess it's not something that needs to be, and I guess to kind of try to apply logic kind of things to this, it just makes it more kind of nonsensical actually, in that sense, and it doesn't really make sense at all. And some of the reaction afterwards, is that kind of confusion, and it didn't really work for me perfectly. Although I can't, kind of dismiss the film for that. That is really the only element of this film that I think is, flawed to an extent, and not bad, but certainly not a film, in the plot, of this kind of Spectre portrayal, and how he is responsible and all this kind of stuff. It doesn't work perfectly, although the other flaw that I had, kind of C, the character C, he's kind of, I found him to be a bit frustrating as well, early on. But saying that though, I really love how kind of this satisfying moment when M is kind of struggling with C, and he is of course at least C falling to his death, and just an epic moment there. I loved seeing that. I guess I wasn't keen on the character, but it's a really satisfying way in which he goes out, and it's really memorable as well. Andrew Scott, kind of, I guess in the second half of the film, he did kind of grow me a bit, but still, I wasn't overall a fan of the character of C. But yeah, that's my only flaws really in the film, as I say, is that character, and a few things around that, and how they're kind of trying to attempted to kind of get rid of the double O's, the status there, and kind of trying to kind of shelve that idea. And also, as I say, the kind of the plot with Spectre, at times it does kind of go off the rails a little bit, and I don't really buy into this. Also, the kind of the torture sequence, towards the end of the film as well. A bit later on, we have of course Blofeld interrogating Bond, and the whole kind of torture sequence there. It's definitely not a kind of sequence that I dislike, but it's not. Again, something that works perfectly. The tone is slightly off, and it kind of it wasn't perfectly suited to this. Once again, this kind of this franchise really at all. But also just the actual tone of the film, and there's something kind of off about that sequence as well, the lighting. But that's just a kind of slight issue I have in there. And the film is not perfect for me. But surprisingly, I just find so much now to love about this film. I really love how kind of classical it feels at times, and just a real bombastic film with these kind of big grand set pieces, and at the same time it's really engaging in the actual character working, the interactions of course between Bond and Madeline, and Mr. White, and different characters of course throughout the film, Mr. Hinks as well. Of course, we can't forget the train sequence involving him and Bond, of course, and Madeline, and just seeing how that fight is just so brutal. One such example of great kind of hand-to-hand combat in this, and the way it's shot, and the editing overall, is mostly great. In this film, and the action, it could have been a bit more visceral at times, but for the most part, I think the fight sequences are great, and this one here, it's just stunning. It really is one of the best kind of hand-to-hand fight scenes in a Bond film, full stop. And seeing, of course, the kind of comedy there, and seeing how he goes out, it's quite funny actually as well. And I think, of course, Madeline's role in seeing the scenes after that, how they kind of pick this relationship up after that kind of that outburst there. And you know, I love the flow this film has at times. You know, really it goes together wonderfully, and kind of going to different locations, and just seeing you know the variety once again. You know, Austria, Italy, Morocco, Mexico, and of course the UK as well. Seeing you know these different locales is great, and a real variety. It kind of plays you know in the actual action itself. You know the set pieces here, and you know it really is. It's a really wonderful use of locations, and I feel you know really at times, you know, as I say, the cinematography is not perfect, but it at least kind of makes great use of location, and you know kind of seeing these wonderful you know stunning shots at times, and yeah, just really kind of allows the action to be varied as well. And yeah, as I say, so much to love about this film. You know, just the overall the score is great as well. I feel by Thomas Newman, once again, Sam Mendes and Thomas Newman pairing up for this, just like in Skyfall, and it's nowhere near, you know, kind of one of my favourite Bond scores. This one here, and I do prefer the Skyfall score to this, you know, to this film, I guess. But you know, saying that, you know, I do really like this score, and there's so much moments to love about this. I think. You know, especially seeing this film once again, you know, kind of picking up on the Madeline theme, it's really great, and really just this really magical feeling I get, you know, from watching this film, experiencing this love story, of course, and at the same time, Bond is, you know, back, you know, he's brutal, you know, kind of hard hitting once again, and you know, the fight scenes are great. You know, Daniel Craig once again, you know, is so kind of you know, the physicality of this, you know, is so impressive, and you know, doing this, you know, kind of take on Bond. There's more humorous, of course, but at the same time, it's a very brutal film once again. They know the danger of the character, the universe, and how you know this character is, you know, hard hitting and just brutal. And you know, I love the kind of the gritty moments, you know, the violence in this, and at times, you know, the shocking, you know, film. But you know, it is this really sophisticated. I feel, you know, kind of wonderfully done for the most part Bond film, and I think. Daniel Craig, as I say, is great. Christoph Waltz is, you know, it's very interesting to see him in this film, and I appreciate him, you know, and his take on Blofeld. Not my favourite Blofeld, of course, but you know, that's that's kind of hard to top, I guess, for me. And but yeah, you know, seeing him in this film, you know, he's commendable, of course, and you know, he is giving a solid performance. The script is definitely ambitious, although. Let's just say, for me, it doesn't always work perfectly. You know, it's nice to see and appreciate how ambitious this film is in its scope, in the script itself, and how they're kind of playing different characters and calling back, and the whole kind of once again bringing back the past, like Skyfall, although in a very different way. It's definitely very commendable, you know, to see this at least then try to do this. And as I say, this film does not always work for me perfectly, mainly the plot, I guess, and the whole kind of way in which Spectre is portrayed, and the actual universe that's being kind of tied together in this film here, and playing off the different Daniel Craig films. It's not, you know, kind of a flawless way in this works, and I think it is jarring on occasion. But having said that, really everything else about this film I love or really like, and I think seeing this once again, I was surprised by how fun this is, how you know, just you know, enjoyable it is, you know, how kind of how humorous it is, and yeah, really charming film. This I think personally, this is you know, really just a film that has grown on me so much. And as I say, this is just my experience with this film. As I said earlier, of course, you know, the way to put it is for a Bond fan, a massive Bond fan such as myself, to finally have yet another Bond film to love. You know, more Bond to love. You know, it's only good, and I think. Yeah, I've kind of come around to this, and this is just my experience with the film, and you know, it's a film that I personally love, and I think it's great to see how, you know, last time round my ranking was certainly, you know, the kind of I guess outside the top 10 especially is very, very different to what it is now, and you know, it'll make it more exciting to kind of do the ranking once again of all of the films, you know, including of course No Time to Die there, but you know, just to see where my ranking will be compared to last time round, because Spectre has really climbed very, very high, and you know, of course, I understand it's not for everyone. This film, and it's a one that's very, very different, and very, you know, it's ambitious, but it's very risky in that sense, and you know, I guess it's not a film that perfectly works for me, and I guess that the film will, of course, not be for everyone, and not everyone will kind of buy into this. I did not buy into this fully either, I must say, but you know, having said that, you know, I do really, I love this film overall as a Bond experience. It's great, and I think my final rating for this film is going to shock quite a few people, because last time round, let's just think, you know, as around the 55% mark. You know, I can't be sure on that off the top of my head, but you know, it was around that, give or take a few percentage. But you know, seeing it once again, it's massively increased, and this time round, for me, my final rating is a 92%. Yeah, very, very high, and what can I say? I love the film. I love the style, the Bond moments within this, and you know, the action, of course, the adventure, the feeling of this. It really has this really lovely feel. You know, it's just a warm film. You know, I watched this. You know, it just uplifted me, and you know, I love the romance in the film. I love seeing all the characters. You know, M and you know, Moneypenny, and of course Bill Tanner, Q. All these characters once again, and how they're utilised in this film. You know, as this kind of team. You know, I love how they do this, and I love, you know, at times the score as well by Thomas Newman, and the way the film was shot. Not always perfect, but you know, not one of my favourite Bond films visually, but overall, consistently it is very engaging, you know, visually, and I think the locations are great. You know, seeing Bond and how he interacts with characters throughout. You know, it starts off. You know, we have, of course, the pre-title sequence being very bombastic and you know, kind of grand and majestic, but then it is very contained and gradual, and just really kind of grounded, and you know, this real spy feeling you know, get from this first kind of hour or so, or a bit less than that, and then it goes more big and kind of globetrotting once again, and yeah, just to see you know, Madeleine coming to the film as well after the hour mark, and really, you know, kind of in that sense, and Bond interacting with her, and as I say, you know, the romance I absolutely loved, and seeing you know, kind of the ending as well. The ending itself is so kind of epic and satisfying. Of course, Madeleine and Bond driving off, and you know, together in the DB5 is so great, and seeing, of course, the final as well, interactions between M and Bond, and then of course that leading into the final scene, and of course the Bond theme kicking in, and just an epic, satisfying final you know, kind of scene for me actually, and then of course into the credits, which are fairly lengthy, and yeah, that's the film, Spectre. I really love this film personally. I think it's a great film. You know, I really I know this film is not popular at all. In fact, it could be the least popular Bond out there, and you know, just yeah, it's just my personal take on this film. You know, I love different Bond films that maybe not you know, the most popular, and this is one of them, I guess. And you know, Tomorrow Never Dies. In fact, it has that similar feeling at times that I really have grown to love actually, and you know, it's this kind of, it's comparable to that film in some regards, but yeah, that's an example of a Bond film that's not kind of too popular, or The World Is Not Enough, and you know, I love those films, and I love Spectre personally, and it's certainly a film that I'm pleased I've kind of grown to love, not just to like, you know, from mediocre to great. You know, I really am pleased, you know, that the recent rewatch back in March, and yeah, just that's what I can say. I'm pleased to once again love another Bond film, and yeah, just kind of I look forward to rewatching this film, you know, in the future, and yeah, it really is honestly a film that I can, after seeing it, I can say that I really look forward to you know, just watching it from time to time, and maybe out of order as well, not necessarily watching even Skyfall, and yeah, just putting this on, and yeah, just to kind of escape into this world. Got a lot of comfort from this, just putting this on and watching this film, and yeah, just a great experience, and you know, I really look forward to, you know, of course, massively No Time to Die, and seeing the film and seeing what I think once again, and that'll be, of course, as we know, the final Daniel Craig Bond, and you know, this film as well, it's a one to cherish for me, because I'm a massive Bond fan, and especially Daniel Craig as well. You know, he's one of my favourite Bond you know, kind of actors. He really is up there, and you know, he's truly a legendary actor, and you know, I think as Bond, he is great, and you know, what he's done with this character, and yeah, just what he's brought to the role, you know, really is so commendable. It really would be an understatement, of course, to say that Daniel Craig has brought so much to this role. You know, his unique kind of take, honouring, of course, you know, the past, the legacy of Bond, but you know, really just putting his own stamp on this, and bringing his own thing to the character, but bringing back the physicality and the brutality of this from Dalton, but you know, especially from Connery and Lazenby those days, and yeah, just really, I love his take on Bond, and the penultimate in that sense, you know, Daniel Craig Bond. So yes, we have No Time to Die, and cannot wait for that film, and we'll be doing, you know, putting this up, and I'll probably be doing, maybe I'll try to do some kind of ranking around this time, you know, No Time to Die's release, and not necessarily before, you know, I see that film, but you know, it'd be great to kind of do this, and also eventually, you know, kind of assembling, finally, once again, the ranking, you know, my kind of, my new ranking of the franchise. I will say, you know, the top 10 has not changed dramatically, but you know, outside of that, you know, it really is very, very different, you know, to last time round. So look forward to that, and yeah, what do you think of this film? It'd be great to hear, as always, and respect for the comments. I know this film is not everyone's favourite. I know I've seen, I'll be honest, I've seen out there, you know, some, you know, a little bit too much negativity in a certain way towards this film, and I wouldn't want the kind of this to be, you know, to turn into, you know, kind of a hostile comment section from Bond fans, because you know, I'm a Bond fan as well, and all I ask is, you know, people to respect one another's, you know, opinions on, you know, the franchise, and just to kind of be respectful in the comments, and yeah, just to share the passion for whatever Bond films we actually love, and overall as a franchise, you know, for a Bond fan to simply respectfully, you know, share their passion for the, you know, the franchise overall, and you know, to kind of, yeah, to celebrate this. That's all I ask, and that's, you know, the best thing to do, and yeah, just to be positive, and not everyone will like this film, and that's fine. No film is for everyone, but yes, just it'd be great to kind of continue, I guess, you know, to kind of course, to yeah, just go about the comments section, you know, in a respectful manner, and you know, be peaceful, and yeah, just to kind of you know, respectfully share our opinions on this film and different Bond films, and yeah, cinema as always. So yes, I look forward to hearing your thoughts. What do you think of this film? It'd be great to hear, as I say, and yeah, get your take on this film, Spectre. So yes, a film I love, and it's really great. It'd be great once again to kind of go through these films, and you know, this is kind of it's not over yet. You know, we have No Time to Die, and for now, and we'll kind of you know, touch base then, of course, and that'll be the conclusion in this. So you know, because last time round I did say, of course, you know, on the Spectre review, you know, kind of closing remarks in that sense, but we'll leave that for No Time to Die. And for now, though, it's been great. I love doing this, and of course, sharing my opinion on this film, and yeah, a film that I truly love now, and yeah, Spectre from 2015. What a film this is for me. So yes, as always, take care, and thanks for watching.